Hey guys, it's Mimi. Thanks so much for watching another one of my baking videos. Today we're making a super fluffy matcha Swiss cake roll paired with a semi-sweet Adzuki bean cream. It's a heavenly Japanese style green tea dessert just like the ones you can find in the dessert shops in Japan. First, here are all the ingredients you'll need. I'll put the exact measurements in the description box below. First, sift matcha powder into a small saucepan. Add milk, then place over medium heat, constantly stirring the mixture until it starts to steam and no visible clumps of powder can be seen. Don't let the mixture come to a boil. Take it off the heat and set it aside to cool. Next, we'll make the meringue. In a clean and dry non-plastic mixing bowl, whip egg whites on slow speed until it becomes frothy. Then add the cream of tartar. Increase the mixer speed to medium. Once the whites have become opaque and the bubbles have become smaller, add sugar a little bit at a time. Now increase the speed to medium-high. Whip it until stiff peaks form. It should look like this. You can see the pointed tip doesn't droop over. This whole mixture is now called the meringue. Just set it aside for now. In a large mixing bowl, combine together the sifted cake flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, egg yolks, oil, vanilla extract, and the cooled matcha milk mixture. Stir to combine until fully incorporated. Do not overmix because this can result in a tough cake. Gently fold 1/3 of the meringue into the milk flour mixture to get it moving. Use a gentle folding motion like this. We need to be careful not to deflate the air inside the meringue. Once incorporated, fold in the rest of the meringue. Pour the batter into an 8x12 rectangular cake pan lined with parchment paper. Spread out the batter evenly with an angled spatula. Tap the pan on the counter to release large air pockets. Bake it for 10-12 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit until a skewer pulls out clean and the cake springs back in the center. Let it cool for 5 minutes in the pan before removing. Next, place a cooling rack over the cake pan. Flip the cake over onto the rack and gently remove the paper. Let it cool down on the cooling rack for a further 5 minutes. Place a new piece of parchment paper on top of the cake. Flip the cake over and start rolling, allowing the parchment paper to be in between the folds. It's important to roll the cake before it cools completely, otherwise it will crack while rolling and unrolling. Let it cool in this wrapped condition while preparing the Adzuki red bean cream. Rinse the pre-soaked beans to get rid of any impurities and throw away damaged beans. Place the beans in a medium-sized pot. Add enough water to go past the beans by 2 inches. Using a medium-high heat, bring the water to a boil, then reduce to low for a light simmer. Let the beans simmer until it becomes soft, about 30 minutes, but the duration will depend on how long the beans were pre-soaked for. Test the bean's softness with your fingers, or better yet, try eating one once it has cooled down. Drain the water from the beans and add it back into the pot. Add sugar and salt and stir on low heat until the water has evaporated. Keep on stirring until a line can be drawn without disappearing. Set the beans aside to cool. Next, we'll work on the cream portion. Place the water in the heat-proof cup and sprinkle gelatin on top to bloom. Wait 5 minutes or until it swells and becomes solid. Place the cup in a small saucepan filled with simmering water. Once the gelatin becomes liquid, take it out of the water and let it cool on the counter. Immediately start beating the cream and sugar in a stand mixer fitted with the chilled bowl. Whip on medium speed and then increase to medium-high. Check on the gelatin. It should no longer be hot, but still runny. If it has become solid again, place it back in the hot water until just melted. Once the beaters leave tracks in the cream, pour the gelatin into the bowl slowly and steadily. Aim for the area in between the whisk and the bowl. You can see that the beaters will start to leave large ridges inside the cream. This change happens very quickly, so be ready to stop the mixer once you see this change. We can now use this sturdy stabilized whipped cream to make our red bean cream. If this part is a bit overwhelming for you, you can skip the stabilization with the gelatin. However, the cake may not hold its shape for long and should be consumed within the same day. Let's continue. Pulverize half of the beans in the food processor to make a paste, or you can also use a fork to mash it. Gently fold in the cooled Adzuki bean paste and the whole beans into the whipped cream. Gently unwrap the rolled cake and then spread an even layer of cream on it. Carefully roll up the cake from the short edge, using the parchment paper to help push the cake onto itself. It might still look a little flat at this point, but that's totally okay. I'll show you how I make my rolled cakes look perfectly round. Wrap it with plastic wrap and use this opportunity to roll the cake into a round cylinder shape. This is the step which helps the cake look beautifully round. This delicious matcha cake roll can be kept in the fridge for 2 to 3 days in an airtight container. If you want to print out the instructions, head on over to my blog. I'll put the link in the description box below. Thanks for watching.